Your child learns more between the ages of 0 and 5 than they will in any classroom, any university, or any training program for the rest of their life. Not because someone sat them down with flashcards, not because they watched educational videos, but because of something far quieter and far more powerful happening in the ordinary moments of every single day. And the wildest part, you're probably already doing some of it without even realizing it. Today, we're talking about 5 everyday activities that are quietly building your child's brain right now. These aren't programs or purchases, they're woven into life itself. But when you understand why they work, you'll start doing them more intentionally. And that's where everything changes. Let's start with one that doesn't get nearly enough credit. When your child says, "I'm bored," most parents panic a little. They reach for a toy or flip on a screen. But what if that moment of restlessness is actually one of the most productive states a young brain can be in? Unstructured free play, the kind with no instructions, no winner, no adult directing what happens next, is where some of the deepest learning of childhood takes place. When children play freely, whether they're building something with pillows, pretending a cardboard box is a spaceship, or wandering around the backyard with a stick, their brains are working hard. They're making decisions, solving problems, regulating emotions, and practicing creativity. A 2018 report from the American Academy of Pediatrics found that free play is so essential to healthy development that its decline in recent decades may be contributing to rising rates of anxiety and diminished executive function in children. So the next time your child is restless and uninspired, pause before you fix it. That boredom is the beginning of something. Now let's talk about something you do every day without thinking about it. Talking. Not reading a book together or singing a song, just regular conversation. Narrating what you're doing, pointing things out, asking your child what they notice. It sounds almost too simple, but the research behind it is striking. A landmark study from the University of Kansas found that by the time children reach age 3, there can be a gap of 30 million words heard between children raised in highly verbal environments versus those raised in quieter ones. And that gap predicts vocabulary, reading ability, and academic success years later. The key isn't just talking at your child, it's talking with them, leaving space, letting them answer even when the answer is slow or doesn't quite make sense, asking what they think instead of only telling them what you know. The back and forth is what builds language, and language is the scaffolding for nearly every cognitive skill that follows. Here's one that might surprise you: letting your child help with things around the house. Not in a formal chore chart kind of way, just inviting them into what you're already doing. Folding laundry, rinsing vegetables, matching socks, wiping down a counter. To you, it's Tuesday. To their brain, it's a full workout. When children participate in real tasks, they're practicing sequencing, planning, fine motor skills, early math concepts, and perhaps most importantly, the feeling that they are capable. That feeling matters more than most parents realize. Research consistently shows that children who regularly contribute to household tasks develop stronger executive function and a more internal sense of motivation. They don't do things because someone is watching. They do things because they believe they can. And that belief planted early shapes how they approach challenges for the rest of their lives. Reading together. You've probably heard this one before, but the reason it makes this list isn't just vocabulary, though that's real and significant. Reading just one picture book a day from birth to age 5 exposes a child to tens of thousands of words annually that simply don't show up in everyday conversation. Words like enormous, peculiar, or trembled. But the deeper benefit is something that happens when you slow down and read together, without rushing to the last page. When you ask, "What do you think is going to happen?" When you connect the story to something your child has actually experienced. That's when reading becomes a thinking activity, not just a listening one. It builds imagination, it builds empathy, it builds the ability to hold a story in mind and follow it somewhere. And when it happens in a cozy, unhurried way, children form a relationship with books that tends to stick. The repetition matters too. Reading the same book 5 times in a row isn't your child being difficult. It's their brain consolidating patterns, building confidence, and finding comfort in something familiar. The last activity might be the one you overlook most because it doesn't feel productive. Asking questions and then genuinely not knowing the answer. When your child asks why the sky is dark at night, or where the rain comes from, or what happens to the sun when it sets, the instinct is often to give them the correct answer quickly and move on. But what if you said, "I'm not sure. What do you think?" And then, "Let's find out together." That small shift does something remarkable. It teaches a child that not knowing is the beginning of discovery, not a failure. It models curiosity as a practice, rather than a trait you either have or don't. Children who grow up in environments where questions are welcomed and explored tend to develop stronger reasoning skills and a more durable love of learning, not because they were given more answers, but because they learned that asking is always worth it. So here's the recap. 5 everyday activities that are doing more for your child's brain than any program or toy ever could. Free unstructured play, real everyday conversation, helping with tasks around the house, reading together slowly and interactively, and encouraging questions, especially the ones neither of you can answer right away. None of these require a special setting or a cleared schedule. They happen in kitchens, in car rides, on walks, at bedtime. The moments are already there. You just have to know what you're looking at. And now you do. Thanks for watching.